Ladies and gentlemen, from the glamour capital of the world and the John Lovitz Comedy Network at Universal Studios City Walk, Universal City, California, it's time for the Oh Mary Show, starring Mary Kennedy and Paul Jason.
I like our theme song.
I love our theme
Don't you
song.
think it's fun?
You're looking good, Mary.
Thanks, you're looking good too.
Thank you. I'm wearing my very special Daddy Don Tax Services t-shirt.
I know. Okay, you're gonna do a little fashion for us? Oh, look at that, everybody. It's tax season! Yeah!
Indeed.
And
we're
this
gonna
is probably the most interesting show we've ever done in the 4 years that we've been working together.
People always
Taxes.
have people always have a big
know.
response to it. You know, it's romance, finance, or hot pants. People always want to know.
So, Paul, I have to ask you on our pre-tax day show. Have you done your taxes?
Not yet. I have to talk to Daddy Don about that very thing. And ladies and gentlemen.
There he is, Daddy Don Anspa. Thank you.
There he is in his bright yellow shirt.
Good to be here.
We're glad to have you.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Well, he is, what would you say you are?
I am a financial counselor. I help people alleviate the fears that they have over their finances, over what they might have to pay. I give them joy when they get a refund. And we just kind of work through the problems. You know, I love to say 1 and 1 is 2, it's not 11. It's not a matter of perspectives. We deal with facts, figures, and no rumors. And, you know, we kind of get through the process in my office. We try to make it fun. Some people aren't happy, and we don't like working with unhappy people. And, you know, for those folks that are a little bit grumbly, we do have a plaque in the office that says if you're grouchy, it's an extra $10. And, you know, that works.
Do you ever call them a douche? We just heard that.
No. Some people say you sound aggravated, and it's like I'm trying to explain it to you, and when we go through it 2 or 3 times and say the same thing, it's like some people aren't listening. And, you know, I go to the little inner self. We try to go and be of love and service and try to explain what the process is. But for many people, they're not financially responsible.
Well, I mean, I have just become financially responsible now that I'm a parent, because I have to be. Like, I just learned, Donald, how to balance my checkbook. Just learned.
Wait a second. So breeding brings financial
It
responsibility?
has to. Do you know, first of all, see, the more you know. So here's the thing, Donald. They are tax deductions.
Children are tax deduction under 18
Paul
years
Jasek
old.
is a tax deduction.
You can get a $1,000 child tax credit.
Yes.
Right? Also, you know, if you have educational costs for these small children, you can go and get deductions for that, for child care. And, you know, we also have tuition deductions for parents that are paying college tuition. There's Hope Credit, there's Opportunity Credit, there's Lifetime Learning Credit, that you can get these credits for going back to school as an adjustment on your total taxable income.
Wait. Let's get back here for just a second. So my children, one's 7, one's 5, one's 7 going on 35. If I send them to college, I can deduct that?
You can't deduct the whole cost. You can get a tax credit, which is going to have an effect on reducing your total tax bill. You can also get, now that they're under 18, you can get a child tax credit of about $1,000 per child.
Yeah, we did. And if I have and if I have another one, Paul, it's another $1,000.
It is.
See?
But that lasts until 18, taking care of that small child.
Small child.
And then 4 years of college.
Right.
Not to say they might want to be a lawyer or a doctor, then that's another 3 to 4 years of college that you get to pay for. My God, and all of these people watching the Oh Mary Show will be saying, hey, we're helping to contribute to her educating her beautiful children.
Well, and here's the deal. They become a doctor, and then they actually support me until retirement.
She lives in an entire fantasy world, ladies and gentlemen. There's no... Mary, you can... Well...
No, but let's... So...
Well, I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Because people are so emotionally charged at this time of year, they're nervous about it anyway. They're unprepared.
Taxes.
We're here at the 3rd of April, and April 15th is around the corner. Are there any tips
days.
that people should be getting ready for, or
Well,
do you have room in your schedule for people to call you, or?
right now we're working round the clock. We go and we're constantly answering the phone at Daddy Don's Tax Service, located in West Hollywood, serving the world.
And what's your website?
Our website is daddydon.com. We have some incredible itemization sheets for people in occupations to be able to break down what their expenses were related to their work. We have an automobile expense sheet if they work outside the office and are commuting around using their car for work. They get that deduction. Right now it's 56 cents per mile that they use their car. And all of this stuff, the basis that we have is you need receipts. Check, cash, and credit card is merely your form of payment, but we need to see a receipt. In the event of an audit, and the audit percentages are really down, what the IRS utilizes, sometimes I say there isn't a person working at the IRS. These are computers.
Right.
The computers look at means, they look at averages in regard to what people's occupations are and what should the relative deductions be for the specific categories that the IRS has on a form. If it's way over that percentage, somewhere that computer's going to click and they're going to say, we want to see your receipts. They want to see what substantiates this deduction. We can extemporaneously recreate these receipts looking at checks. We can look at credit card bills, etc. But a real IRS agent, when they're sitting there, they want to see if you shopped at Costco, you bought a printer, you weren't buying groceries, you weren't buying pants. They want to see that things are associated with your business.
But wait a second. So here's the thing. For this show, because we're on TV now, you can see me on camera.
Yes.
And I buy certain makeup that is only for television. Oh, it's a matte makeup, right? I'm not wearing that to the grocery store. Couldn't I deduct that?
Yes, you can. When we go and look at the entertainer's worksheet, we have professional makeup, professional grooming, dressing room supplies, wardrobes that's specific for your job that you need to buy. Many of the actresses have to have their hair done, their nails done. They have to have a certain look when they go into the casting directors for these specific parts. All of that stuff, it's like, get a receipt. Document that you had your hair done because you were going to shoot a commercial or you were doing the Oh Mary show on this specific date. So that there's documentation, and it's the who, what, when, where game. It's why did you do it, where did you go, what was the benefit of doing it, so that you substantiate what these deductions are.
So I have a question, all right? I have a question. So you are a pharmaceutical rep. And you are.
No, he does taxes.
No. I'm doing a hypothetical.
No sampling.
You are no. You're a pharmaceutical rep, and you are trying to wine and dine doctors, and you decide you're going to take them to Vegas, and you go to Olympic Gardens, which is a strip club. Can you wait a second? Can you deduct? And they buy meals. Can you deduct the strip club experience?
Yes, you can, because you know what? The thing behind all of this is the who, what, when, where. We are a pharmaceutical rep. We're dealing with doctors.
Right.
I have a client that works for a major pharmaceutical firm, and they do entertainment and they do presentations to the physicians, to the hospitals, a medical practice, relative to what is the new drug, how does it work, and if there is a business benefit to that these doctors are going to be utilizing these particular medications for their patients that have
Viagra.
Viagra, Cialis, Levitra.
Nice.
All of this
Good
stuff.
Job, Angelo.
It's, Blue Shield just turned down my prescription for Cialis, which is taken for BPH, which is prostate medication.
Right.
And they're referring us to another medication, which I've tried and doesn't have it. The reaction that my body had, I fainted on it. And so they changed the medication.
Right.
And, there's some doctor that said, oh, this is not applicable, try the other one. We've already tried the other one, so we're contesting it. But anyway, besides that, back to the strip club. It depends if it's Chippendales or you're at the Peppermint Rhino. If all of this has a Spearmint Rhino.
They're by my house.
If it has a benefit that these people are going to be utilizing the product which you're promoting, the environment in which you're promoting it would be deductible. There is a 50% deduction for meals and entertainment. So we always have the pharmaceutical company pay 100%. It's not paid out of the pharmaceutical representative's pocket, but it's put on an expense account.
Important. Because, I flew for a long time. I knew that there were special deductions for flight attendants.
For flight attendants especially, because I know they're in the Los Angeles area, some of them have temporary digs that when they're on layover here, that they're able to go and deduct that interim housing that they have because it may not be their permanent housing. All of their dry cleaning costs, their costs, meals that they're having on the road, all of those are deductible. And any personal items that they end up having to pick up relative while they're traveling are also deductions. Those deduction sheets for airline personnel can also be found at daddydon.com under the expense breakout sheets.
It's such a comprehensive website. I mean,
Absolutely.
Paul.
I'm a client and also a friend of, and Daddy Don has cleaned up a great deal of my past. So I encourage you, especially if this is at the 11th hour and all of you are out there, at least go to Don's website, and it may alleviate it. If not, make an appointment with him. You'll be so glad you did.
And some people say, my office manager, Loretta Massey, God bless her,
Sweet
today's
Loretta.
her birthday and she's not with us.
Happy birthday, Loretta.
29 again this year, and a very, very proud grandma.
And she's your office manager?
She's my office manager. She takes all the phone calls and does the bookings and assists me in the processing of the returns and putting together the information. And just lost my thought here.
Well, but you need that, I think.
We need that. What happened this past week is I had a gentleman come in and he said, Daddy Don, I need some help. I haven't filed my taxes since 2002. Can you help me? We have the
Great.
resources to go back to 1997 to file taxes. The IRS doesn't forget. The Franchise Tax Board does not forget if you haven't filed your taxes. We have the ability to contact them and get the necessary information to provide the assistant to do an accurate, concise tax return. And you won't pay a penny more than what you owe. Some people have a fear in regard to their tax liability.
You
Yeah.
bet.
And my version is, I don't think any of us walked into a car dealership and paid cash for a car. I can't do that.
Yeah,
We
right.
finance
Yeah,
it.
right.
And what we're able to do is set up a payment plan with the IRS that can extend over 72 months. We divide 72 into the amount of money that you owe and set up a payment plan. So in effect, I say you have an imaginary beautiful car. You don't get to sit in it. You don't get to drive it. You don't have to wash it, insure it, or change the oil. But you're going to make payments on it, and the IRS is going to keep it for you. And when you're done, that'll all be paid off. And we try to do this reconciliation to assist them and also do the planning so that they don't incur additional tax liability in future years. I think that's the biggest component that we offer is financial planning in regard to tax matters to reduce your financial liability in the future so that you don't incur the same problem over and over by doing the same actions.
So so here's a question for me. And I worked in, 1 year I worked in Boston, New York, New Jersey, and Florida. I worked in 4 different states.
We love Florida. Florida doesn't have state income tax.
Right.
Oh, my goodness,
So
I
I was
didn't know that.
okay, but I decided this would be a great year for me to do my own taxes.
Well,
And this is before I had kids and all that stuff.
since you live in California, what the requirement is you have to go and file non-resident taxes for each one of those states.
Right.
Any taxes that you paid to those states will become an adjustment on your California tax liability, so you're not double taxed on the income. There's a special procedure to go through, and it's a Form S, so that you get a credit for taxes paid to other states.
But there was a major red flag because then there was sort of some audit proceedings. And I only, there's different now, explain now, this is what happened to me. There was different steps to the audit. I never got to a full audit, but there were some red flags.
Well, what potentially happened is if you did it yourself and filled out the
it
tax
was
forms,
horrible.
perhaps it wasn't done appropriately.
Yeah,
And the
Could be.
deductions that you have relative to that income cover your whole work year for the Internal Revenue Service, and then you have allocation in regard to those different states. And I'm an Internal Revenue Service enrolled agent. I took the comprehensive tax exam from the IRS to be able to pass that shows I have experience and applicable knowledge for individual partnership, LLC, and corporate tax returns, as well as trust tax returns, to be able to do that. You should always go and utilize a registered tax preparer
Not
in
Mary Kennedy.
California.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, not me.
ctech.org has a list of all of the registered tax preparers for California. The IRS website has a listing of all of the enrolled agents licensed to practice to do taxes. And the key thing behind being an enrolled agent, I can represent you without you having to be there in event of an audit. That's what an enrolled agent can do.
See?
So there are many stages to different audit procedures. You can have a paper audit where the IRS is requesting specific information relative to the questions they have on a particular form.
That was
And
me.
all you have to do is supply that information and documentation to them for review.
Right.
I have a client that missed, he started a corporation, we missed, when they opened the corporation in January, he used another bank account. The corporate bank account started in March, and we only had access to the one started in March, so we missed January and February. I got a note, the IRS said you had additional income, so what we're going to do is amend the tax return, provide the additional information on what his deductions were, and send that into the IRS. We probably won't have a face-to-face audit, but we always try to give comprehensive, more information than what they want, and the paperwork to back it up.
Well, what do you? Okay, so let me ask you this, Paul. Because Paul has a very incredible imagination. What do you picture an audit looking like?
I think the craft lands. Then men in black come out. It's usually very late at night. They surround you. You're teleported into a barren office with one
Light
glaring
bulb.
bulb lighting over it. And then they start asking you questions
It sounds
about logarithms and chemistry.
It sounds like Catholic school all over.
There
See,
is.
that's what it is. It's a little bit like Catholic school.
It's
Yeah,
scary.
it's very, very frightening. And one of the reasons that I think so many people will find your service so helpful is you take all of that scary out of it, and then it becomes very unemotional. But here's a question: did you always want to be, a licensed tax preparer? I mean,
I went to Penn State and I studied healthcare and administration for hospital administration.
I don't think I knew that about you.
yeah,
I
don't
also-
think it's right here. Yeah.
I also studied labor studies and did trade union administration working for the AFL-CIO in Houston, Texas on a special organizing project. My key area was healthcare, public employees, and healthcare employees. And we assisted them in bargaining, we assisted in member sign-up, etc. And my boss there said, you're going to have work-related expenses that are going to be deductible on a tax return. So doing due diligence, I went to the IRS office, I got publication 17, combed through it, and I was assisting my other fellow workers to do their tax returns. Paul, you and I don't have that much hair. Mary, yours looks
That's
fabulous.
gorgeous. Thank you, Mary Donovan. Thank
And
you. Thank you. Yeah.
The key thing behind all of this is we all have people we go to that we love that will do our hair. And when you find that person, it's consistent. They're your therapist as you're sitting in the chair.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Your tax person also knows your full financial life and all of the intricacies. I have people that have been working with me all 25 years that have been out here in Los Angeles doing taxes.
Excellent.
There's consistency in my manner. There's irritation in my manner. And, I'm Daddy Don. Sometimes, I practice patient love and tolerance. We stop fighting all people, places, and things,
Indeed.
especially the IRS, and we just want to give them the information which they want. I find it a great gift. It's very overwhelming for me sometimes during this season, during tax season, because we have 550 base clients, 30% are business, the rest are individuals, and I got my start doing a TV pilot as the production accountant. And I worked with everybody in front of the camera and behind the camera to be able to assist and do their taxes. We've expanded. We have friends now that work at ABC, friends that are over at Disney, friends that work at NBC. And, the publicity for Daddy Don's tax service, the best compliment we can take is a referral.
Right.
That people that are happy with our service will go and tell us about it. They'll go and share it with their friends and say, Daddy Don will help you work out the problems that you have. And that is the wealth of the clients that we have today. We find that, you can do some print advertising. That's effective, maybe bringing in 1 or 2 new clients a year. But our key retention is working with our present clients. And we have a special bonus. Everybody that sends a referral gets a $25 Starbucks card. Who doesn't like coffee?
See?
Or you can
Oh,
get
wow.
your hot chocolate, or you can get your Frappuccino.
Mention the O'Mary Show, and then Paul and I will never have to buy Starbucks again.
There you go.
fact, Angelo, do you have his commercial? Did you know we have a commercial for you?
He does, but it's later on.
Is it
It's
later on?
like,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Don't mess
Sorry.
with the running order.
Pardon me. I don't have the recipe in front of me. Pardon me.
Daddy Don's Tax Service,
It's true.
located in West Hollywood,
And-
serving the world.
And your website again is?
DaddyDon.com.
See, daddydon.com. I want, at this time, my friends, I want to talk about your mission statement because I think it's a good one. You say in your mission statement to surpass client expectations in providing tax services which are accurate, concise, and understood. Now, and your office professionals take pride in exceeding your clients' needs and concerns regarding tax and financial decisions, right? So, do you ever have somebody across the table, and this is getting us into that's just not funny, do you have anyone across the table that you just want to throttle them because they come to you and it might be Paul. They came to you and literally they had shoe boxes of like shoelaces and not receipts.
I love my Loretta, my office manager. We get grocery bags, sometime with food wrappers, use Kleenex and other accoutrements in along with the receipts. And, actually when they come in, I'm very proud of them that they followed my direction and saved the receipts. We're here to go and break out those receipts, categorize them, throw it on an Excel sheet, and use it to support their tax return.
So would you rather, okay, so my husband is the Quicken King. He sits in front of the computer and literally enters everything into Quicken. We do not have a stitch of paper that goes to our accountant. Not one stitch of paper.
Intuit has such a wonderful program. We utilize QuickBooks for the
Right.
professional version for businesses. Quicken is an excellent program to help manage household money and finances. And if you go and track what your checks were written for, if you track what your ATM receipts are, your cash receipts and your credit card receipts, it's an incredible value to an accountant. And I just love those people that are so retentive
Yes.
that they're able to do that. And as I said, we've been doing this for 25 years. We try to develop a training mode working with our clients to get them in the habit of doing this, and we provide the assistance that they need. We're patient, we're loving, we're tolerant most of the time.
No, it's absolutely true.
Most of the time.
He and Sweet
But
Loretta.
effectively, our theme is consistent when we're talking with people to go and maintain the receipts and offer assistance to do the accurate bookkeeping to provide an accurate, concise, and audit-proof tax return.
See, audit proof, everybody. Audit proof. Because auditing is just not funny. See what I did there?
Wow. Segue, ladies and gentlemen. Watch her. Queen of it.
So so that's just not funny. Do you remember from when you came on our show before? When
Yes,
we were
I
at the other
did.
location?
Yeah.
Where we go through articles and we say sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not funny. Sometimes it's just very sad. Sometimes and it's a secret. That's what keeps it exciting.
You mean the taxes?
No, that's just not funny. The articles.
Oh,
Here we go,
okay.
because we're going into our special That's Just Not Funny segment.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's right.
You have to
The
do a
I
bumper.
have to
Yeah,
do the
yeah,
bumper.
live, everybody.
It's just not funny ever with Mary and Paul and Daddy Dawn today.
That was very Martha Graham.
And the Oh Mary Orchestra.
That's not funny.
That is great, Angelo.
Yay, Angela.
Okay, so the first one. Do you know what the first one is, Paul?
I do.
It's Malaysia Airlines once again, and I gotta. Paul, I don't think we are ever. There it is,
There it
Malaysia
is,
Airlines.
Malaysian Airlines. Where is the plane?
I don't know if we're ever gonna find the plane. I really don't. And what's interesting, Paul wanted to talk about, and I don't know if you think that this is the case. You think it's like the show Lost.
I do. I don't. Well, here, from my own experience of having flown for a long time, if it went down, there should be wreckage. Now, I talked about this with several people. They think that it is sunk, but a 777 is a big plane, so there should be mess.
How many years
somewhere.
did you fly, Paul?
5.
5.
So is it as big as the plane that we saw on Snakes on a Plane? Is it that big? I'm talking movie-wise.
Yes.
Or you know,
A 777 is just a little smaller than a 747, so it's a big plane.
like there's an up and down
No,
stairs. Okay.
Was Jimmy Hoffa on this flight?
It could be, and the Lindbergh baby might have been on board. But what is guaranteed is that we'll never get their luggage on either side, even if they're found. So,
Well,
yeah,
There's two types of luggage on a plane: carry-on and lost.
and lost
Exactly. Lost. Callback. So here's the thing. Time brought up a
Time.
very interesting article because we could have some terrorist expert sitting over there across the table, or we could have some airline, expert talk about where is the plane. But Time talked about why there are no phone call records from the plane. Now, when we did our 9/11 conspiracy theory, you thought that those phone calls that came out of there were fakes.
That's correct.
And tell us why you thought they were fakes.
The technology in 2001,
Right.
and this is confirmed by American Airlines later on, they could not maintain a cell contact at 35,000 feet.
Okay.
So those cell phone calls, and so get your tinfoil hat and put it firmly on your head. But later on, American Airlines said for the first time in our own experience, and this was after 9/11, that you will now be able to use a cell phone from your seat.
But Time says that they think that phone jammer was used.
Which this is paranoid-inducing.
Phone jammer, okay. Upon activating a phone jammer, all idle phones will indicate no network. Dun dun dun! So they
You did your own, Mary. That's fabulous.
So Time is saying that they feel like they did this phone jammer so nobody could have, so there'd be no record of people's cell phones on that plane. Why would somebody want to do that?
It's a good question, Mary. Where's the plane?
Everybody keeps talking about debris. There was debris on the 170 today. There was lots of debris. There was lots of car debris. I saw the debris. So if all these news people are talking about debris, where's the debris?
And they say the seats float.
They do.
Right, so where are the seats, Paul?
And there's always a tail section. So when the Air France flight was lost off South America, it took them a while to find it because the black box transponder, the minute began transmitting, and there are two. There's a a cockpit voice recorder, and there's another black box that tracks it. So that they're getting no information from either side, from either one of those boxes, is suspicious. Or someone's not telling us the full story. Now, it's a month later.
Right.
So, now I've been delayed before, but this is stupid. I one time circled Manchester, New Hampshire till I thought I was going to age noticeably in the aircraft.
They have good maple syrup, though.
They do.
They're
and they were
delicious.
lovely people when we finally did land. But it's curious because if we go with a conspiracy theory that they wanted the plane and not the passengers.
Well, there is phone jammer that originates in China. Oh, dun dun.
Dun dun dun!
Jammerfromchina.com. They would have to be sneaked through security, and it might take 2 or 3 to shut down cell phone calls from the entire aircraft.
And out of 283 people on the plane, is there not one person that had enough money to have a satellite phone?
See, there's a lot of questions. Where's the plane? So, and our thoughts, and on a completely humanistic note, my thoughts and feelings to all of those that were aboard and that poor crew. The longest I ever had to fly, because I flew domestically, was about 5 to 6 hours. They're still with those people. A month later, that is a long time to be with a crew.
Oh my
God!
Unbelievable.
I know, bad. So, so they're stuck with the child who, this is so bad.
Go ahead. Too soon, Mary. Let's go.
They're
go right
stuck
ahead.
with the child who is kicking the back
Still
side
kicking
of
the
their
back of the
seat.
seat. That's right. And no overhead but bed to put them on. Oh, Angelo. Oh.
Sorry,
You
if you don't
naughty
laugh
boy.
about tragedy, you'll never get over it.
So okay, now I'm gonna pull her cover. So
Okay.
a friend of mine who I used to fly with, in fact, just a brief moment, he would think this is funny. Unfortunately, he was killed in a plane crash. His own private
That's not
plane.
funny!
It isn't funny.
Oh, yes,
Captain
this-
Greg Pelly.
yes.
So I call Mary when I
God
get the
rest his
news.
soul.
I'm so upset And so, what does Mary say to me? This is because we're stand-up comics, and this is how twisted this woman is. That's why she's my best friend.
Yeah.
So she said, "Oh, Paul, that's awful. At least we know where Greg's plane is." Okay.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Exactly.
But you got a little chuckle.
I did. We both
I'm
laughed.
Irish
We cried and we
Catholic.
laughed.
We
Yeah,
laugh
yeah.
about
We
death.
laughed and
I
death.
know. But our heart does go out to the people of the Malaysia airline. It seems a little
Suspicious.
Eerie.
suspicious, a little
The
eerie.
black hole.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Oh. Let's not get there. All right, our next That's Just Not funny.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
I
Okay.
know.
So Paul and I did an article way back about the New York City's epidemic. There it is. The epidemic. We're not talking about the plague. We're talking about the suicide epidemic of all of those bankers, J.P. Morgan, Chase.
Yeah, did you hear about this, Daddy Don?
It, whenever the financial market goes down, people who put all of their trust and all of their faith in what's in their wallet just kind of think that there is no way out. And how attached can we be to our money? We make
I'm
bad
very
decisions
attached.
all the time. I mean, I've had bad hair some days. We see that commercial on TV with a lady with the great big hair and the disco outfit. But, it's kind of sad that these people at some time in their life had so much money and now they're penniless. It's like, we've been there.
Well, what was interesting is these are top... Wow, Angelo. These are top-level executives at different banks that were committing suicide. Not one, not two. We're up to 7.
No, 8.
And now 8. But this one was a murder. He was a hit and kill.
run.
Hit and run. So what are these executives knowing that we don't know?
Well, but see, so here's this bloggist in New York that she said the city suicide that's been happening is a myth. And now, God rest Mick Jagger's girlfriend. She also committed suicide. The fashion, Lauren Scott. She, the fashion icon, fashion designer. She was designing dresses for Angelina Jolie for her wedding. She hanged herself as well. Now it's interesting. This bloggist from the New York Post, Nicole Jelinas, writes that she thinks it's a myth that New York City is a place of hope, and that these are just isolated instances, and that New York is not at all fueling this. That these businessmen who've committed suicide, it's not a plot, it's not connected.
Well, they were worldwide. It wasn't just New York.
Right.
They did do it in New York.
There was a lot in New York, though. So I don't know. I mean, we don't hear about this in Los Angeles? I mean, I think there was one suicide in Los Angeles.
There's just always that person laying there in the debris with a headshot. So sad. It's just...
Or the woman at the Beverly Hills Surgical Center that was on the roof
That's
of
right.
the building,
That jumped.
naked, that jumped. And I don't know, we have Law and Order, we have CSI, we have Criminal Minds, we had The Sopranos, and, some of these bankers, whose money was it that they lost?
Well,
We see the politics that happens in the world. We see everything that's happening on the show Scandal, how the subliminal things are made to look like what they're not really. And, there are forces out there, powers greater than we know about.
Indeed.
And, it's sad. And the other thing, having had the experience of 2 close friends that committed suicide,
Indeed.
we also have to look at the right of self-deliverance for these people. Although it affects their families, and I sympathize with them tremendously, these people were in an emotional turmoil and state in their lives that they decided this was their best option.
It was the only relief.
It's very sad for the families, but then again we can go and question: did they make the right decision for themselves,
but isn't it sadder for them to sit in a life that they hate?
or being hated, or being
Right.
despised, or
Right.
actually been found out at what did they make a wrong decision? I mean, Bernie Madoff's in jail on suicide watch.
Well, and now, but he also has stated, he stated that, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, I mean, truly.
A place to sleep and 3 meals a day.
Hey,
3 hots and a cot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, some of the older people, he has decimated their retirement, and they're
Indeed.
looking, what do I do next? The grocery cart looks good.
Indeed.
Well, so,
This is a happy...
well, but I'm just saying that
Is she blaming New York?
She's not blaming New York. She's just saying that she does not see that there's a connection. That she does not see that there, I think she used Lauren Scott as, see, it's not connected.
I think she was confused on how to spell her name. I think she could, not one more day. Not one more day.
But
I'm sorry. That was terrible. Too soon.
But what I'm saying, though, is that I think there is a connection. And some people are saying...
To New York? No.
No, I'm saying that there's a connection with these financiers committing suicide at such a rate, and they're connected. J.P. Morgan, Chase, blah, blah, blah. I think there is a connection.
I do, too.
I
It's going
don't
to be
think there's a
interesting.
myth.
We will revisit it, because I
And
think there's something going on.
There's something going
Where's
on.
Bob Woodward when you need him?
Exactly.
Exactly. We're gonna So I think I think she's kind of irresponsible with her blog. Oh, this one's fun. This is a fun one. Fun, and I'm so happy because we caught them.
Yeah. And
Okay.
they're also nasty to LGBT people.
Hobby Lobby.
Hate them.
Not to be confused with Holly Hobby.
Wow. Segue. Isn't she good at it? Did you see?
Now, Holly Lobby is a
Hobby Lobby.
Did I say-
Holly?
Oh, Hobby Lobby. Hobby
Hobby
Lobby
Lobby.
is creative center, kind of like a Michaels but Christian, right? Kind of like a Michaels but Christian. This is so good. We love this. This made my week actually. You, Paul? Basically, they have been investing in pharma. They've been investing in pharma, the company. This is what makes me so happy as I get it up. The owners of Hobby Lobby, a Christian-owned craft supply chain, were so offended by the idea of having to include emergency contraceptives and intrauterine devices in their health insurance plans, it's okay, that they sued the Obama administration over it. But Mother Jones reported on Tuesday that the company's retirement plan has invested millions of dollars in the manufacturers of emergency contraception and drugs used to induce abortions. Yay! So,
That's RU 486?
what's for it? Explain.
I think that's
the-
the abortion pill.
Yeah, the morning after
Oh,
pill.
sure.
Yeah.
There's got to be a morning after.
Ooh. So,
I stand behind a woman's right to choose, and
I
I
do
don't,
too.
and
I
Absolutely.
firmly believe in a woman's right to choose despite what my opinion may be
Right.
in regard to the circumstance because it's her body, her life,
Mm-hmm.
and her decision.
absolutely.
well,
And the other thing that comes up, look at the Republicans. Why did they cut all of this money out of the food stamp program? Okay, if you want us to have the children, how are we supposed to feed them? How are we supposed to educate them? They're cutting back on social programs. And yet their proponents are saying, you must go and have the children, although the woman may not have the ability to support the child or there may be other circumstances
Just
in
doesn't
her
make any
decision.
sense.
It's like, stay out of my bedroom, stay out of my womb.
Indeed.
Well-
Indeed.
and here's the story, is that, and I'm a mother. I had 2 kids. I knew the minute, actually, because I was very nauseous and hungry all at the same time. I knew when I was pregnant, like I did.
Immediately?
I did. I remember. Yeah. And then Paul kind of knew with the second one. He said, there's something amiss. There's something amiss.
Something's up.
Something's up. And then I was pregnant with Nick. But, I totally stand by a woman's right to choose. Also, what makes me crazy, and we did some stuff about this, is that a lot of the archdioceses around the country did not support contraceptive pharmaceutical pills for menopausal women, for when they're for hormone replacement, because they said it was for birth control. It's ridiculous.
Having a heat flash.
But what I'm
Indeed.
saying is you've got these women then who are not doing this because if they're working for the archdiocese, they're not able to get it paid for, and it's very expensive. And then they turn up with cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer because they didn't have the hormone replacement.
God's will.
God's will. Shut it.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody screws with Jesus. So this Hobby Lobby, of course. And that's what gets the O'Mara show, is we are supportive of Christians. We
bet.
ourselves, I believe in the Jesus. I like the Jesus. He's going to, be reborn again. Love it. I'm going to be able to
I
eat
thought I
some
saw
ham.
him walking down the street in West Hollywood, long hair, the long robe,
This one.
yesterday.
I love bad Jesus.
Yeah, we're going to get to eat ham and potatoes. Fantastic. But the truth is that this company has asserted that they're a Christian company. This company has asserted, they even sued the Obama administration, and they have
And
tons of
digging
money
around in their
tied in.
portfolio, they find out that they've been supporting it.
Yeah, that's
I love it.
just not funny.
Hypocritical.
Yeah. That's just not funny, right, Paul?
It's not funny.
Okay. So
Indeed.
here we go. Now,
That's not funny.
now
That's
it's
right.
now it's time. That's just not funny is over.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time for Daddy Don's commercial. It is. It is, and isn't that exciting? We did a little commercial.
Excellent.
We did. It's
Oh,
gonna come up.
it's
I think isn't that fun? Look at us,
Indeed.
Daddy Don Tax Service. So
Located
you guys,
in West Hollywood, serving the world at
Daddy.
www.daddydon.com.
Well, and for you guys who procrastinated, because it is April 3rd, can you get their taxes done in time?
We can. I will burn the midnight oil, or we'll do an extension depending on what their circumstance is. Now, the other thing that's really important, let me go and interject here.
Yeah.
You can get an extension to be able to file your taxes. However, do not be confused. That does not give additional time to pay your tax liability. If you think you may owe money to the government, they must get that check by April 15th, because
Really?
if you don't pay on time, there's a 5% penalty per month for 5 months for failure to pay in a timely manner. We can get an extension that will give us until October 15th to file your taxes, but if you owe money, that money is due and must be postmarked by April 15th. Otherwise, penalties will apply, and interest will accrue until that is paid off in full.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think here's your commercial. Everybody. Why so glum?
Oh, Mary, I'm swamped. And I haven't done my taxes yet.
Oh, Paul, call Daddy Don.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Daddy Don's Tax Service.
You know their mission. To surpass client expectations and providing tax services, which are accurate, concise, and understood. They take pride in exceeding clients' needs and concerns regarding tax and financial decisions. I mean, Paul, they're perfect.
You're right. If you're out there and if you're in need, behind, and facing IRS problems, contact Daddy Don's Tax Service. It's easy to remember. It's daddydon.com. Go there now.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hungry?
Oh, yeah.
And here we are again.
I just don't even. Can I say that on air? Should I say it?
No.
That was hilarious. He is the name of my next show. It is kind of what I am.
It
I love
is.
it. I mean,
Today,
it's
for
Look, I'm
sure,
blushing.
today.
Look at I'm green. Okay, I'm green. So we just had your Daddy Don commercial. So let me ask you this question and give the number, if you would, to your office. Can you give your number?
The number for Daddy Don's Tax Service is 323-656-7532.
So if they call you tomorrow morning, could you see them tomorrow or no?
We would be able to schedule an appointment and get them in. Our schedule's pretty well booked. We're also taking office hours over Saturday for people to be able, and we send out information to them when they call in so that they have our intake information so that they know what to bring with them, and we direct them to the website at www.daddydon.com to get itemization sheets that will help better prepare them in breaking down what their expenses are, and I make the decision on how they get potentially allocated to reduce their tax liability.
Okay,
Indeed.
Good. And then, folks, just personally, the e-file is fantastic.
We're able to electronically file your taxes, direct deposit your refund right into your bank account.
That's great.
By the IRS if it's accepted within 14 to 21 days. If you owe money, they can also debit your account. And if you owe a large amount of money, we can help set up a payment plan that, just like making your car payment that's automatic, the IRS can debit your account on a monthly basis to pay what your bill is.
Ding, ding,
We
ding.
work with you to make sure that you do not pay a penny more than what you owe.
See?
Excellent
Isn't that
news.
Fun. I know. Well, there's some news about Daddy Don that we all should know. So, you are a tax preparer, but there's a little secret about Daddy Don.
Well, it's not really a secret for those of us that know. He happens to be a celebrity here, at least in the West Hollywood Society. What I think is fascinating about this is I was actually talking to some people today about who was going to be on the O'Mary show this evening, and they said, I'm so weird about my taxes. I couldn't, I haven't filed in a couple of years, and I really would have a hard time sitting down and talking to anybody. I said, well, Daddy John is also International Mr. Leather.
No.
Not international.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, I'm sorry.
Los Angeles, Mr. Leather, 2002.
And you may get this call because she goes, really? I said, so you can tell Daddy anything. She goes, oh, I feel so much better. So I think that's so interesting because what I, as a gay man, I didn't know until very recently with my friendship with you what the leather community is.
To my mother who's watching what the leather
That's what I'm
community
saying. I think it's fascinating.
What is it?
We've just had an incredible week here in Los Angeles. It was Los Angeles Leather Pride Week. The culmination of that is a contest where we had 10 contestants competing for the title of Los Angeles Mr. Leather, Mr. Southern California Leather.
That's
they
from
all up there?
Chicago. Yeah, that's Chicago.
That's Chicago.
That's Chicago.
Yeah.
That's Chicago. But we have 10 contestants from local contests here that represent different organizations, different clubs, and different bars that competed for the title of Los Angeles Mr. Leather. Eric Paul Loya, who was Mr. Eagle Los Angeles 2014, was the contestant that is now Mr. Los Angeles Leather 2014, and he will travel to Chicago to compete with 50 to 60 other gentlemen from around the world, Europe, South Africa, and all of the United States that have different contests for the title of International Mr. Leather.
Excellent.
We have a very active leather kink community.
Kinky. Yes.
Kinky. Mary, I was going to ask, what's your kink or what's your fetish? What do you like?
Oh, what is my fetish?
I had a vision of you in a bustier, spiked pumps, with a little riding crop, and a collar and leash.
No, I know what it is. She doesn't even know what it is.
No, what? You're kind of close.
It's not far off. It includes a Coach bag, though.
So let me just talk about the Coach for a minute, and maybe they'll be our sponsor.
Black leather Coach bag.
No, well, maybe it depends on the shoes. But what I'm saying is, I go into the Coach department store, or whatever.
She touches herself inappropriately. It's so embarrassing.
I
herself.
take a moment and I go, let's have a moment of silence.
And the smell of leather is just kind of an incredible pheromone that just makes us feel differently. I mean, when I'm in full leather, I am a different personality. You know, I may be here in my fancy linen orange shirt today. And actually, when you asked me about leather, I was thinking, well, should I show up in full leather? It's like, no, we're going to be on radio. I didn't know it was TV.
Well, yeah, no, now it's TV. Well, go ahead.
Explain, because until we met, I wasn't really sure about the leather community. It is fascinating about the bonding that goes on, and it's not primarily just gay men. The leather community includes women as well.
It's an LGBT community.
Right.
We have International Miss Leather. There is Miss Sanctuary Leather, a very dear friend of mine, Shay, that is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
What's Sanctuary?
Sanctuary. It's a club located down in the off La Cienega in the LAX area that is a play space.
Oh, okay.
And she is Miss Sanctuary, which is her title, but she showed up very, very Christian Louboutin heels.
Oh, nice.
This black leather fitted dress and her sash, and she is just a vision of loveliness. But she's also a dominatrix. And
see, that's more me with a Coach bag. I like being empowered.
Well, when we talk about leather, there's a power exchange that goes on between two individuals, and whatever their placing or their fetish may be. When you go, the connection that you have with that person, you create boundaries, you create rules, and say, this is what I would like to experience. And, in a placing, we can talk about bondage, we can talk about flogging, we can talk about hot wax. There are many different things to go and explore. Electricity.
Electricity?
Yeah. When you walk through your house and you have that shag carpet, and as little kids we'd lick our finger and touch you and you get that little spark, you can play with that. And it's incredibly sensuous.
Oh, electricity?
Electricity, very low voltage though, like a 9-volt battery.
On your nipples, Mary.
This is So what if? Okay, so it's for the LGBT community, gay community.
Not always.
No,
But
Not
it's-
always.
Yeah,
It's
not
very
always.
active in a straight community.
Is it really?
Look at Hustler that has all sorts of
That's
things.
right.
You can go and see the Pleasure Chest located in Santa Monica. That's one of the premier adult erotic stores
Yeah.
that just has different things that can titillate your senses in different parts of your body, depending on what you are looking for, what you want, and what you would like to experience. And the Los Angeles leather community is a group of all of these different clubs, men's clubs, motorcycle clubs, women's clubs, transsexual clubs that come together, and we have various different educational groups. Avatar, which is in the Los Angeles area, last Wednesday of every month, they have a seminar dealing with different fetishes as an educational seminar to go and explain it, do a demonstration, so that, we go by the premise, safe, sane, and consensual.
Oh,
In
sure.
regard to play. I mean, that's the same for straight sex too. Oh, honey, I want it now. It's very festive in the first year, and then later on, we go and find things that just try to create more of an atmosphere, more eroticism in our lives, more things that titillate us and make us sensitive. And, we have these things that just kind of bring joy to our heart.
See, when Charles cleans the bathroom, that's when I'm in.
In the French maid outfit? and the
No,
little
when he
duster?
just cleans the bathroom and there's a gift certificate to Coach, I'm in. That's all I need.
She's easy.
I
She's an easy
love
girl,
when,
ladies and gentlemen.
The moms out there know what I'm talking about. He cleans the bathroom, and I love Paul. I have no attraction to Paul whatsoever. You know that. No, you don't like me either. Yeah, I have a thing below the belt that you aren't
not true,
interested
man.
in at all. Shh, don't do that. When he because he gets a little crazy, he'll be at my house and he'll actually do my linen closet as we're talking because he was a flight attendant.
A little OCD about it.
There's a small little piece of me that wants to kiss him on the mouth, but I don't. Because you did my linen closet.
Well, that's true. No,
And you know what? You can just tantalize him with the knowledge that that is what you would like to do, but he's withholding of it. And, sometimes
And my
we call
safe
this,
word is towel.
mine is hippopotamus. And sometimes we call some of these actions that we
Angela
go
just
through
gave me a-
edging.
What?
We get close, but you don't really get what you want. You get close, but you don't
that's
really
so
get
interesting.
what you want.
What I think is fascinating about it is, first of all,
Kind of
that-
like my last date. I got close, but
But
I
no-
didn't get anything I wanted. I got a handshake.
but
Really?
But the communication, the communication that has to go on, though, sex is still one of
It's
those.
still very powerful because
Absolutely.
it is a power exchange between, if we're talking in regard to leather terms, we have a dominant and we have a submissive. They talk about a sadist, they talk about a masochist.
Are you the dominant?
I'm a switch. I take what I want and I get what I need.
I love that. And
know,
that's why he's
indeed.
a
Show me
good
the man, I'll tell
tax
you the
preparer.
possibilities.
There you go.
And and really to try to really define myself as just I'm strictly a
Right,
top, I'm
right.
strictly a bottom. It's just like there's so much communication and exchange that goes on in regard to our sensitivities, our life and our abilities, and what we want to experience. And it's like it's great fun to talk about this stuff beforehand. This is what I would like to experience. Can you help get me there? I don't have knowledge. Can you tell me someone else that may have knowledge that can help me do that? I mean, my favorite thing is I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I go to the gym.
Right.
I have my private video at the gym because I don't want these men undressed. I want them to keep their clothes on, and I want to mentally, in my mind, have that experience. Because you know what? The biggest sexual organ that we have is our minds, our consciousness, and our ability to put us in different spaces that we
Right.
want to be.
Indeed.
And seldom do we always get what we want, but in our mind, it's the most incredible playground to visit
Indeed.
by myself.
Indeed.
I don't go there alone. I don't go to my mind alone.
It's not a bad
scary.
idea, actually.
But as moms, okay, and I have to. I'm so glad we're talking about this. I know. As a mom, though, now that
Segue?
no, there's a small segue, and I had this conversation with my husband. I am someone's mother. So it's hard for me now, and you've seen the Walmart people. Those women are someone's mother, and they're wearing, a thong and pasties to the Walmart. I'm saying I am someone's mother. I don't do that. So it's hard for me to be completely free with myself now. That
Well, you don't have a door on the bedroom, Mary. That's also a
No, I
problem.
do. We have a door to the
Mary,
office.
have you ever visited Victoria's Secret to get something
sure.
special on that when you get
Yes.
home and your
Oh, yeah.
husband's Charles?
Yeah.
And, you know, he's just got done cleaning the bathroom, and you're standing there, and it's like, honey, I just found this, and I thought of you. Does that work for him?
But see, I don't like to talk. I'm not a big, like, talk person beforehand or foreplay girl.
I love foreplay.
And then after, I'm like, okay, we're done. I want to
She's such a guy about
I want
it.
to put on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and
she's such a
eat,
guy
eat
about
a
it.
sugar-free
You know,
pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like bull riders, but I need something more than 7 seconds, Mary.
But see, I like the 7 seconds. Quick. In and we're out. And then I like jewelry and bags.
You've worked
I like
on
jewelry
TV
and bags.
too long.
No, it's not.
We're in, we're out, it's
We're
over.
done. We're
Yeah.
done. Intro, outro. Oh.
She's crazy.
I love foreplay. And, you know, in regard to
foreplay.
leather, we can always go and find out what a person's sensitivities are. What do they enjoy? Scratching their head, nibbling their ear? You know,
Are you
massage.
talking like a tax preparer? Like
I'm
what-
talking
what
as
is
a
wrong
leather
with
No,
man.
no,
you?
no. I want to know.
What's wrong with
Listen.
you?
We've opened up the leather box.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about it. So, are you talking to them like across the table, like we're talking, or are you talking like I'm your daddy? Stop, ew. Like what? Are you talking sexy to them, or is it very heady and intellectual?
It's coming from a headspace. It's coming to
Very
be
smart.
to play into what they're looking for and their sensitivities to be able to deliver, like UPS. We want it there. We want it now. And you know, sometimes the brown uniform and the shorts work.
See, I had a crush on a UPS guy in New York. I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Legally Blonde. I mean, I'm trying to think of her name right now. She's on Two Broke Girls.
Not Reese Witherspoon.
No,
I
Blake
don't-
Lively.
No. I know
the big girl, Bend and
Alicia-
Snap. No,
Alicia Silverstone?
no,
Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, I love Jennifer.
You know, she had this incredible fantasy about the UPS man. And, you know, he's showing up, he's in a uniform, very handsome man. And, you know, sometimes what I find, let's get into the millennium generation, the kids that are wired into the phones, that can't socialize, that don't talk, that don't acknowledge anybody walking down the street. You know, I am very much
it's a world of Asperger's.
It
Yes.
is. I'm very much, you know, from my hometown. Good morning. How are you? When I see people walking down the street, and people will just be in their own little world, turned off, tuned out. And, you know, this is almost the old Leary. What was his name?
Timothy Leary.
Timothy Leary.
Right.
You know, tune in, tune out. And how do these children be able to socialize later? And when we're talking about the headspace that we all put ourselves in, when we're emotional, we're vulnerable, or we want some attention, we go and create the atmosphere around our own aura that go and either attract people to us or push people away.
But do you think the leather? Okay, so I did a lot of research on this. I did,
Okay.
and I was very intrigued. And there were some very hot guys
Edge of
in leather.
moistness,
Yes,
yes.
beautiful men, like beautiful, kind of scary GI Joe meets. There's a little like scary leather GI Joes. That's what I say. So, I guess my question to you is being a leather man. Are you able to be vulnerable? Like nobody.
Very much so. I think one of the
don't look
the
vulnerable.
greatest things that I have is my sensitivity
Right.
and emotions that I have in trying to make that connection with another individual, whether it be with a man or with a woman. That, you know, sometimes we can go and have that gruff exterior, that stern look. And, you know, I find myself getting in that. And there was a guy working out at the gym that was such negative energy. It's so forceful to keep you at bay. And, you know, what I've learned is, you know, if we can't laugh at ourselves, rule number 62, don't take yourself too seriously.
Right.
That people
Shut up.
people will go and be able to observe that. And
Right.
it's the power of attraction. Because what you see is what you get, whether it's here in my nice orange linen shirt or it's in my full leather gear. We have a different persona in regard to our outfit. You know, leather, drag, suit, dress. You know, what we put on our outside of our body is merely our own form of drag and a personification that we're going to go and experience. I mean, right now you have on your kind of
It's
blue,
chambray. Yes.
chambray
Yes.
colored shirt.
Denim.
How does that make you feel, Mary? How does that
I
color
feel
make you
very
feel?
mummy right now.
You feel very mummy, but
Yeah, I
you know
kinda-
what? it makes your eyes glow. Those beautiful
It's pretty.
hazel gray eyes are just highlighted by that shirt.
But as you're talking about this, I kind of want to be sitting here in a Dom outfit with a whip.
We can, when we leave here, we can stop by Hustler. We can go over to the stock room.
Indeed.
And, Mary, I think maybe I should take you on a tour of all of these different places in Los
I
Angeles.
will
think we
video it.
I think we should do it. We're on.
I know. So, and you want to see the segue? Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Final notes.
Okay.
A very sexy book that's on our bedside list.
Nice, Mary. Segue.
In God We Trust, a book of American economics by Michael Harrington is on
He's
our
a guest
bedside
of ours.
list.
Yes, on our
Yes.
bedside
In
list.
God We Trust.
It's a wonderful book.
It's about economy. Not sexy, but talking about taxes and
Nice.
money and all that stuff.
And you
So-
can find our bedside list at omaryshow.com.
That's right. Yes, In God We Trust, a novel of American politics, not economics. Sorry.
Well, it plays into it.
It does play into it. And Daddy Don Tax Service.
Located in West Hollywood, serving the world at www.daddydon.com. And you can Google Daddy Don, and I'll pop right up in that little,
And he will not be
Page.
wearing leather. But he has tattoos, which I like
a
too.
couple tattoos.
Yeah.
One's never enough.
I know. That's true. Just like this show. One O'Mary show is never
Never
enough.
enough.
If you
Always.
don't catch us live here, you can always go to our website, omaryshow.com, or you can go to our Twitter at MK Comedy, which will be changing to
It'll be changing to
at
the
O'Mary Show.
Show.
But for that's
So
that.
it's on her to-do list.
It is on my to-do list. And we have 2 live shows coming up, everybody. We do Friday, May 2nd here at the club, at the John Lovitz Comedy Club. We will be having a live show, and we have some very exciting guests that will be on
Indeed.
stage. And then Friday, July 18th, we're also doing a live show. And we don't know what that's going to be yet, do we?
But it's near my birthday, so I'm
Maybe
working on
we'll do a Leatherman
Ooh.
contest.
Nice, that might be fun,
That
yeah.
would be fun.
Next week?
I
Next-
could get Mr. Los Angeles Leather to come in if you'd like to interview him.
Oh.
He's working with AIDS Healthcare Foundation.
Nice.
See?
Indeed.
And then next week, we are doing the anniversary of Titanic.
It's the anniversary of the loss of the eternal story of Titanic.
Screaming.
Isn't that fabulous? It's one of our highest rated
Steerage.
shows. Indeed. Well,
Steerage.
they didn't get to the boat deck.
Yeah, but maybe Titanic is like the Malaysia flight.
Wow. Segue.
They found the plates.
Yeah, they found the plate.
Okay,
They
yeah.
found Titanic 70 years
and
later.
we cannot do this show without Angelo.
Angelo. Yay!
Angelo Piso, who's in the, and I hope I pronounced his name right. We can't do it without the John Lovitz Comedy Club and Podcast Theater.
Indeed.
Mark Short, of course.
Yay, Mark.
Christina Sorge, Dee Burdett. Mary Donovan, who does my hair and makeup, and I did Paul's makeup today because she had another commitment. Tom DeFleur, Charles Hall, and Morgan Hall Production. Liza Kranis, Shane Salk, John Paul Capiello, who did our theme song with Brenda DiGiolamo.
Nice.
It sounds like a dessert.
It does.
Sandra Harris, Harlan Bowl, and to our listeners and viewers, you can always catch us here Thursdays at 7 o'clock Pacific or 10 o'clock Eastern. I'm Mary Kennedy. This
And
is
I'm Paul
Jasek.
Jasek.
And check us on omaryshow.com.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.